Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live.
Hi, everyone. How is everyone doing today on Saturday, December 4th? We just had a solar eclipse in Sagittarius, which apparently may not come around for another 900 years. I could be exaggerating.
Gals and guys.
However, this is a very significant eclipse in the middle of a lot of changes that have been going on, and a lot of changes that should have been going on already in your lives, right? Many of you are rethinking what you've always done in your life, and has it been working for you? And making some decisions about your job, your relationships, your family. And this solar eclipse is a really good eclipse. And we've talked about this before. You can get rid of, or you could bring in, right? But I just want everyone to bring in what they want the right way, whatever that looks like, right? But if you don't have the information that could make you understand how to bring things in better, then we're always going to operate like 2019. And 2019 didn't work for us. And that's why the earth changed. Because it hadn't been working for us for years. And 2019 was the last time. Notice when it came at the end of the year, into the new year. COVID did, Miss Rona. It's the last time you had permission to act the way that you do. Now, of course, we didn't know it. What's God's plan? We have to act straight, because none of us had no idea that this was going to change our lives. And if some of you haven't figured out that life needs to be changing, get ready, because you're about to be in shock if you did not see it in the last couple of years, right? And that's not to scare you. It's a fact. We keep getting new versions of Miss Rona. She keeps birthing something else. Or is it her friends, right? If you're not getting it, what do? You call in your people to battle. They're not getting it. I need heavy artillery now. And Omicron is here. And Omicron to me sounds like a monster. I don't know about you, but it sounds like a whole monster to me. Now, am I predicting that Omicron is going to be a problem? No. I'm predicting that you are a problem, that I am a problem, that we have to figure out how to collectively authorize ourselves to be better, to be kinder, to be quicker, to love first and not attack second, or attack first, love first, not attack first. So I came across the universal laws, and it's so interesting to come across something and operate under these laws. It's different when you come across these laws and you've been trying to do it. right? And so I thought I'd share that with you today. And so let's look at what the 12 universal laws and where do they come from, all right? And I'm getting this from the internet. I don't know why it's acting this way, but I will post it in my description box. The 12 universal laws are thought to be intrinsic, unchanging laws of our universe that ancient cultures have always intuitively known. See, it's one thing to operate intuitively. It's another thing to be taught it. But if you're taught it, that's a good thing because it gives you an opportunity to learn new things, to get away from how 2019 felt and to begin to operate better. So it's actually excellent to be taught this. The laws are often associated with, I'm going to pronounce this wrong. I hate that I can't pronounce this word. Ho'oponopono, a meditation for freedom originating in ancient Hawaiian culture. Some of these laws are also attributed to Hermetic philosophy, going back to ancient Egypt. The list of the ancient laws has withstood the test of time, and plenty of others around the world still work with it today. All of the laws are about mastering your life with love and joy. All right. Law 1, the law of divine oneness. The first and most foundational law of the universe is the law of divine oneness, which highlights the interconnectedness of all things. It says that beyond our senses, every thought, action, and event is in some way connected to anything and everything. So do you understand that? How to apply this law? It entails being compassionate with others and recognizing that we are all one. The recommendation working with this law by asking questions like, how can I show more compassion and acceptance towards those I don't understand, or what would love do? It is beautiful. Thank you. And it's very, very important to understand that when we have conflicts at our job, conflicts with our family, conflicts with our children, we're not far removed from the conflict. Is the conflict me, or is it them? Or how am I participating in something that pulled me in? Did I want to get pulled in? Was there a way to operate differently? We all have to question all of this. What would love do? How can I show more compassion and acceptance towards those I don't understand? The law of vibration. At a microscopic level, everything is in constant motion, vibrating at a very specific frequency. This applies to matter, but also one's own personal frequency as well. This law says that our vibrational frequency can inform our lived experience. For example, you may not be able to receive money, but perhaps you may, for example, you may be able to receive money, but perhaps you can't hold on to it because vibrationally you could be operating on a lower level. If you feel the need to elevate your frequency or good vibes, there are lots of great practices to do so, some of which is yoga, sound baths, listening to mantras, listening to frequency sounds, and chakra work. The law of correspondence. This law states that patterns repeat throughout the universe and on a personal level. Our reality is a mirror of what's happening inside us at the moment. Think as above, so below, as within, so without. But patterns repeat, and we've talked about this in a lot of my readings when we have people dating and dating and dating, but constantly dating the same characters and is confused by it because you have to stop and look at what you're bringing in. And there has to come a time where you get to recognize that's the guy I keep dating. And you have to say, no, thank you. I've met you, but in different pants. Is it happening for you, not to you? If your life is chaotic and fearful, it's because there's chaos and fear within. Do you understand? So as an example, you keep attracting the same person. You're attracting a liked person that you have inside of you. So it's important to organize you. Make the necessary changes within you so that you can then attract someone better. Your mind says you want someone better. Your actions and your vibration, right? The law of vibration is vibrating out to someone that is of likeness. And you just have to know that from within so that you could stop and attract someone who's vibrating higher because you vibrated higher. So if there's chaos and fear within, if our life is chaotic and fearful, sorry guys, it's because there's chaos and fear within. These are examples. If your life seems calm and grounded, it is because we feel peace within. And working on your peace is probably one of the hardest things you will ever organize in your life. Learning that you don't have to worry about something that's not meant for you, even if it was given to you or thrown to you, even if family members say you're horrible, right? Not owning it is giving yourself peace. That becomes on them, not you, something that you have to carry for the rest of your life. swoosh it off. And if you know that's not you, carry on. But it's going to be hard because no one wants you to have peace. When others are miserable, they want to share the misery. And sometimes you just have to sit back and you have to kind of look at it and you kind of have to say to yourself, is this really about me? Or is there something going on with the other person? Most times you will discover that something is going on with the other person. And that they have so much fear that their inadequacies will get revealed. And you're the weakest link in that connectivity. But in this case, how do you operate? How do you protect yourself? In any troubling situation, it is suggested that you ask what the situation can show you about you and what requires healing. So it's funny how I keep going back to you, right? I'm not pointing a finger. I'm saying deal with you in all aspects. The law of attraction is probably the one that we all know. Undoubtedly, the most talked about universal law is the law of attraction. It is often used for manifestation. It says, like attracts like, and you get what you focus on. Not only that, but you have to believe what you're seeking is possible to obtain. Very similar this is to the law of vibration. In this way, it's important to learn how to vibrate at a level that attracts what you're seeking. But I want to add something to the law of attraction. Just because you want it doesn't mean you can have it, doesn't mean that it's good for you. It means to put it out there. And what the universe gives back to you will be for your greatest and highest good. All right? But I do like the law of attraction. I like vision boards. I like gratitude journals. I like on a new moon or a full moon, writing down my wants and desires. I like the consistency of it, meaning constantly working on my wants and desires from a vibrational standpoint. I think applying all the other laws is what gets you what you want. And I think in between, the universe constantly rewards you so that you remember where it came from. But if you're continuously an inconsiderate person and you're not applying all the laws, then it might be harder to get the law of attraction. I would think. Especially with the earth changing now. Greed doesn't work anymore. And so you will see where some of these laws will begin to fall apart for the wealthiest of people. And the poor will rise. Just saying. How to apply the law of attraction. If you want love, but do not give love, as an example, you're sending the universe a message about your priorities. If you repeat an affirmation, but don't believe what you're saying, it's useless. If you write down something that you want and you have expectations of getting it in a spoiled kind of way, I expect it, you might get what you want. not necessarily designed well for you. But sometimes the universe just gives, and you sometimes just receive, and you're like, ah, I can't believe that great thing just happened to me. And then sometimes you can get things, and it's like, I totally expected that to happen that way. I'm not surprised, especially for those of you that are working on your universal laws, whether you knew what you were doing or not. You get the gifts from the universe. You can get what you want within reason. I remember being in my 20s, and in Montclair, New Jersey, there was a street called Mountain Avenue, and all these beautiful homes were on Mountain Avenue. And I walked up and down Mountain Avenue, and I said, every time I'm gonna buy a house on Mountain Avenue. I never did. I have yet to own a home. And then at some point I thought, why wouldn't God let me have that home? Because I wasn't doing what was necessary to get that type of home. Now I'm in the Caribbean, and now I've got a purpose. I've got a healing center to try and open somewhere. And the probability of my wants and desires of owning something for a greater cause is high. So now I have expectations. Or else I would have been stuck in Montclair, New Jersey. Why was God going to make me stuck in Montclair, New Jersey, when he needed me to be a psychic and he needed me to be out and about amongst the people? You don't understand things until it's many years later. But I get it today. And I want you guys to be able to have it much sooner than I got it. So let me repeat. If you love but do not give love, you're sending the universe a message about your priorities. If you repeat an affirmation but you don't believe what you're saying, it's useless. When we focus on what we want versus what we don't want, it will show up in our life. When we focus on what we want, right? I want to one day have a healing center, right? It sounds different if I were to say, I don't know, if God wants me to have a healing center, I don't know if God wants me to have a child. I don't know. I don't know if God wants me to have a home. God needs you to decide what you want, because he's given you all the resources to get it. Yes, I promise you. If you want a child, go to a fertility doctor and go make that child. But remember, in this universal law, I'm not talking about exercising over somebody else's free will, right? I'm just talking about what you could do, if that makes any sense. The law of inspired action is closely related to law of attraction. The law of inspired action is all about taking those real, actionable steps to invite what we want into our lives. Often the inspiration comes from within. Inspired action is that gentle, an internal nudge. It's not a plan of action. It's, I want to make candles someday. And then you make a candle and it fails. And then you do it again 10 years later. And you make a candle and it fails. And then you go to a co-packer and you design a candle using their senses and their design for you. And you make 300 candles that you never give out because something in that didn't feel right. And then before you move to the Caribbean, you throw away all those candles because it didn't feel right. And then you go back to that nudge again inside your head. Do candles. And then I ordered containers and the wrong containers came. And I was like, how am I supposed to be doing this with these containers? And it turned out they were the best containers accidentally brought. I didn't have a plan of action. You don't have to have a plan of action. Sometimes it's just a desire. And from the desire, we'll have to figure out, do you need to go to classes? Do you need to go back to school? Do you need some training of some type? We can figure all the other things out, but the thought, make sure the thought isn't lost. I wish I could have had a baby. But you can. Go get that baby. Practicing this law, which is the law of inspired action, is all about slowing down, getting quiet. I love this. And creating space for internal guidance on what you should be doing next. When we let go of our need to arrange and control how things will work out, and instead open up to all possibilities, it makes room for new ways of achieving your goals that we might not have considered before. The law of perpetual transmutation of energy. This law states that on an energetic level, everything in the universe is constantly evolving or fluctuating. Everything. Can you stop and imagine what that is? Everything. You know what my favorite part about the universe? How flowers shut down at night. I love that. And they bloom in the morning to start over again. How flowers have to fall off and die for others to grow. How trees never stop growing, ever. It's so beautiful when you stop and consider the perpetual motion of everything. One of the group mates posted a plant today. And it was such a beautiful plant. And she said, when I brought it, it had 4 leaves on it. Thank you for the love of Nikki. She said, when I brought it, it had 4 leaves on it. And I looked at that plant and I put in the feed, the plant loves you. So imagine all that care that she's putting into the plant. You think the other plants surrounding her, not inside her house, outside her house, doesn't know that she's doing wonders by this little plant? Do you think that all those plants aren't watching her? Because they are. They're vibrating. It's their energy. And do you think that they're not going to give her anything that she wants? Because she saved a little baby plant. Is it possible? It is. Because it's all about energy. The thought to save a little tiny plant with 4 leaves. Why would you? Who cares? She cared. And in that way, the universe blesses you. Now, that's just one example of the universe blessing you. Some people might Adopt a child. Ooh, child, imagine those are big blessings then. You never know. Or is there a difference between small blessings and big blessings? If you save a plant or adopt a child, is that any different? No, maybe it's all the same thing. Maybe it's just all the same level of care and love and kindness and expression. Tasha, I love that picture that you posted today. It just really showed where your heart is at. So much love and thank you. All right, let's go back over this again because I talk a lot. The law of perpetual transmutation of energy. This law states that on an energetic level, everything in the universe is constantly evolving or fluctuating. Every action is perceived by a thought, with thoughts themselves having the power to eventually manifest in our physical reality. Ever been around a negative person and you feel your own positive self being depleted? That's just one example. But it can also work the other way. Higher frequencies transmute lower ones when applied with intention. I mean, I had a conversation today with one of my friends at Love and Light, and I can't remember what he said, but he said something like, at work. He was very specific, though, which I thought was curious. He goes, at work, are people annoyed by you? And I thought about it because it took me years to understand my relationship with people. And I thought about it and I said, maybe. But what I can tell you is that every time I left a job, people were so upset. They were like, you cannot leave. What are we going to do? Like, who's going to make us laugh, right? You go to work every day and everybody's miserable. And then that one person comes in, the most annoying person. Oh, God, here comes Tracey again. Let me tell you about my weekend. It was the best. I'm changing their ability to be so miserable. I don't know that I'm doing that. I'm being me. But you can see, and I've noticed that you see after a while, when you walk into the room, people look forward to you. They look forward to your stories. All of a sudden, it's like, how's your weekend, Tracey? It was fine. Why are they asking about my weekend? They want to make fun of me, right? I just turned it negatively instead of just being me. Because it turns out that vibration got shifted and they look forward to the higher vibration, you know? So just as much as a negative person can deplete you, your positivity can raise others' vibration. And that's the place that you should always operate from. It's not that you're supposed to. If somebody negative walked in my house right now, I'd be like, oh my God, when is this person going to leave? I can't take it. But remember, you have your own ownership. So you could leave, not your own house, but if it's a party, you leave. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say? Knowing this, you can actively seek to uplift negative energy around you by maintaining positive thoughts and actions. I know one of the ways I can help with a negative person sometimes is to just listen. Sometimes their negativity is a moment in time. Sometimes their negativity is because nobody listens to them and they're just mad at the world. You never know. Sometimes just listen, nod and grin. Offer sounds of like assistance. Oh man, what? But really listen. Don't be fake. Really listen to someone because there might be a lot of pain there. The law of cause and effect. Relatively straightforward. This law highlights the direct relationship between actions and events. What's important to note here is we often can't see the effects right away, but they will come back around. This is where I get all of you. All of you. Tracy, are they going to get their karma? Tracy, I got hurt. Can you look at the cards and let me know if they're going to get their karma? Has anybody gotten a reading with me? Do you know what my answer usually is? Any of y'all ever got a reading with me? Do you guys know what my answer usually is when somebody says that? And sometimes it's not in a bad way. Sometimes they're just in pain and they're like, will this person feel what I'm feeling? And my heart breaks for you. But do you guys know my answer? What do you mean by that beautiful conundrum? It can only be you. Is that this right here? Tarika, don't worry about their karma. Because karma doesn't work that way. If karma doesn't work for you, right? Karma is not here crying with you, sitting next to you, getting mad for you. That's not how karma works. Karma works by that person's own actions. But you can't wait for it. You can't wait to see their karma. You can appreciate the fact that something went completely wrong. Take your ownership in how wrong, right? If you knew you were with somebody that wasn't operating from a healthy place in your feelings, you were supposed to let them go. If you wanted to hold on to them and eventually they hurt you, you have to look at why you stayed in that and accept all your excuses that come with it. But if you wind up getting hurt, knowing some of the situations that brought it to the table, I don't think we're going to look at karma and see how they're going to sandblast the person that hurt you. It just doesn't work that way. But what's important to note here is often we can't see the effects right away. But it'll come back. And it doesn't have to come back for you to see it. Remember that. That is not where God is. Let me show you how I took care of him. This is God. Let me show you. No, that's not how God works. They will get their karma the way they're supposed to get their karma, but not by grace for you. Some of you will never know how someone got their karma. Also, when we want karma for somebody else, I promise you, you've done something bad to people. I promise you, we've all done something bad to others. I promise you, there's someone out there that doesn't like you because you did something to them. I promise you, perfect. I promise you. You want your karma the same way? I know I don't. So let karma take care of karma the way karma takes care of karma. Her way. Not by grace to you. And I'm going to tell you something else about karma. Depending upon who God wants to save out there for his purpose, karma may never show up because you don't know what God is using for that person. That might be hard to swallow, but that's just the truth. God's a funny God. So don't look for something to come back around designed by how you got hurt. It'll just come back around. That I can promise, because that's energy. That's vibration. It has to come back around. But you move on with your life. Trust that every action will have a reaction. We're still at the laws of cause and effect. Every action will have a reaction, good or bad. What you put out there may not come back to you at the moment, but the vibration, that energy you put out there, has a ripple effect. If you're coming from a place of anger or resentment, if you put that energy out there, you'll eventually be affected as a result. These are hard lessons, but it's kind of good to go over these laws of the universe. I'm going to put a YouTube video and I'm going to put this link in the description. And I want you guys to start figuring out, like, are you perfect? Really? I'm just saying it's 2022, soon to be 2022. And the last couple of years have kind of shown us COVID is all about the universal laws. COVID is about the universal laws. It's not working. The dots aren't connecting. The law of compensation. The law of compensation relates closely to the law of attraction and the law of correspondence. You reap what you sow is the main takeaway, with the law stating your efforts will always come back to you positively. If you are seeking something, you must contribute in some way toward your goal. You reap what you sow. That is one of the most scariest phrases I've ever grown up with. Because I know nice people that have gotten hurt. Are they reaping what they sow? Again, there might be something there, right? Because some people give for selfish reasons. Some people are like, I'm giving to you. Do you recognize I'm giving to you? That will backfire. Trust me, I've been there. I don't think I did it on purpose, but in an unconscious, subconscious kind of way, maybe I did. I don't know. I hate to think that I did, but the actions might have suggested that when I didn't take it a step further and I didn't say to someone, no, you cannot ask me for this anymore. Was I afraid to be loved? Was I trying to be better then? Oh, child, I got my own problems. So you reap what you sow, even if you think you're being a nice person. I get a lot of readings where people say, Tracy, I'm such a nice person. I give from my heart. And, you know, this person just took advantage of me. There's no such thing. If you gave something, you wanted something in return. Whether or not you verbalize it is two different things. You know? I would think that it applies in some form, though, right? I would think that if you're walking home at night and you see someone without a coat on, and you take off your coat and give it to someone, I don't think there's an expectation there, but that definitely is a law of compensation without a doubt, right? That you'll get back later somehow, somewhere, not in a form that you will necessarily be able to connect the dots, but it will definitely show up. But if you give your relationship money to make them happy, and you call that your giving self, or your family constantly borrows from you, but you say you do it because that's how, you know, I'm just a giving. No, you're not. It's a lie that you've been feeding yourself. Go ahead and stop giving to your family and see if they don't turn on you. See if they don't be like, what do you mean no? When you always, that kind person always gives. Go ahead and stop. See if they don't become vultures with teeth that snare at you and call you out your face. I'm just saying, just trying to help. Most people give out of ego. Thank you, Tarika. Whether they realize it or not, thank you. Rather, it's recognition to be accepted, very true, or to make themselves feel good. Victim. Victim of my own giving. Hard lesson when you finally tell someone, no. Jewel, I've been there. They will throw everything in your face. It's so sad. But it's a lesson, right? It's a lesson for you and a lesson for them. And so you can only deal with you. You are all you have. And so watching the giving is then a lesson that you will never do again. But if somebody needs the coat off my back, I will give, for sure. Now remember, I still have a whole immigrant family to take care of, to this day. And if the little girl needs something from Amazon, oh my God, Christmas is coming up, oh my God. She has very expensive taste, by the way. She's a Leo, she's 10, she has expensive taste. Let me text her right now so I can be prepared. But I'm not going to deny a 10-year-old. No more than I would deny Ezra. No more than I would deny Nova. Sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. My throat is still trying to heal. To work with this law, the law of compensation, to work with this law in a matter that attracts or compensates for love and support, for example, say to yourself, where am I being called to serve and support others today? That's a hard one, huh? Who's out there really serving and supporting others? Really? Really? Who's that little girl that filmed George Floyd? What's her name again? Oh my God, I'm so sorry, guys. Somebody help me with her name. She came across me the other day. Can't remember her name. You guys remember her name? That without her, we wouldn't have the knowledge that we got from that terrible situation, Darnella Frazier, can you guys, if you want to, begin to act in a way of service? Can you guys go to Darnella Frazier? She's such a cutie pie. IG, and send her some money. She has 144,000 followers. If everyone gave her $1 for Christmas, that would be giving a gratitude for her steady hand, for her commitment, for showing up for George, for just standing there. Her hashtag is, if somebody could put this in, please, $ Darnella Frazier. DARNELLA FRAZIER. Would it be okay with you guys if you sent her some money for gratitude, for changing the world in the middle of COVID and making a big difference just by being born? Can you guys imagine doing that and having no expectation of what she does with the money or controlling her? Just send it to her for Christmas. If you can consider that in terms of what we're talking about here today, the universal laws. So the law of compensation is, where am I being called to serve and support others today? The law of relativity. This law suggests that we are inclined to compare things in our world, but in reality, everything is neutral. Relativity exists in all things, and in the end, meaning comes down to our perspective and perception. Applying this law can help us understand the tougher parts of our lives with greater compassion. For example, if we're feeling ungrateful for our living situation, it could be because we're comparing our arrangements with someone else. Instead, we'd be better off appreciating what we have without needing to compare it to someone else. I like to tell everyone, at one point I was living in a weed house. I'm so of gratitude that I was living in that weed house, because right around a corner was a store that changed my life. And that's the Green Man store. And I walked in that Green Man store, and I have a reputation in the psychic world for being a bitch, whatever. And they heard about me. And they said, you can work with us. One problem, and we're going to kick you out. And I was like, okay. I wasn't intending to have a problem. Yeah, I can be a bitch in the psychic world because I'm the best. I'm sorry. I'm cocky that way. And when I'm the best, I book out. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. But I looked at them and I said, I will not be any trouble. Nope. And it's from that place I started my YouTube channel. This is a pagan store. There's not a God that they believe in unless it's the God of something or the other things. I don't know what they believe in. I took classes to have them teach me what their belief system was. I never judged them. I stayed there 6 years. And in the end, they kicked me out because I was the best and people couldn't stand it. And oh, fucking well, I don't care. But it comes down to your perspective and your perception. Everything is connected. Everything is mutual. Relativity exists in all things. Applying this law can help you understand the tougher parts of your lives with greater compassion. Instead, we'd be better off appreciating what we have without needing to compare it to something else. And I bring that up with the Green Man story because I did not understand their lifestyle. But they understood me enough to have me come in, and they didn't understand my lifestyle. They're not Christians at all. And yet they said, come on in. Our only problem with you is going to be your attitude. I held it in for 6 years. Let me tell you something. I met most of the best clients that to this day follow me. It was over 10 years ago, practically. Seriously. The law of polarity. This law says that everything in life has an opposite. Good and evil, love and fear, warm and cold. The key is understanding these are all two sides of the same coin. You're allowed to be a good person, and you're allowed to yell the shit out of somebody. It exists in you. And you can go back and be a good person. Trust and believe. To work with this law through a mantra, all contrast brings more clarity. If you're facing a difficult situation like a breakup or a health challenge, for example, tune into what the opposite looks like, which can reveal a new perspective or a lesson. Has anyone ever been sick and be forced into a situation where you have to meet new doctors and meet new people, and then you find in this sickness, let's say of cancer as a good example, that there are great people out there that are suffering from cancer, or you then find that you can create a support group of people that have suffered from cancer, because now you get it from a different perspective. And now is the time and place that's available to you to be, what do we go back up to? Service to others. Can you see what you're going through from a new perspective or from a lesson? Because you can. The law of rhythm. Cycles are a natural part of the universe. Physically, you can think about the seasons on the earth. In our lives, we can remember that integration is just as important as growth. We expect ourselves to be one way all the time, whether we're thinking about our health or even productivity, but it's not sustainable. Take note of your inner rhythm and try to work with them instead of fighting them. Feeling run down, maybe it's better to give yourself some rest instead of powering through, right? In the Black culture, people like to call each other, let alone other people, lazy. I'm not lazy, but I might rest for 2 weeks. I might not do nothing for a while. I remember when my sister came, I didn't have a car when she came. I'm always without a car. And we had to wait for the bus. And at the time, it was very popular for cars to drive by and have their music blasting. And Tony would just get up and start dancing. Like, she didn't understand, you're not supposed to do that. I never really stopped her. I just kind of watched her, and she was just so cute, and she would just start dancing to the music. It's just the cutest thing ever. And I remember thinking, she's teaching me something. She's teaching me not to be inhibited, not to be embarrassed, not to be ashamed of who I am. And so after a while, a car would drive by, and now Tony had expectation of hearing music. I didn't, but she had a different expectation. And she would hear the music, and right away she popped up, and I thought, I'm gonna pop up with her. And we would be dancing at the bus stop together. Two peas of the same pod, of the same coin. It was so beautiful. Is the way you're being and acting, is it sustainable? Is it working for you? I just put up a video today of exercising. Do you know how embarrassing that is? Like, especially when I look back on it, I'm like, my stomach is that big? But I had to do something different because what I was doing wasn't working for me. So maybe if I just put it on full display, I'll really get it off. Maybe if I don't do it in secret and hide behind fluffy clothing. Just saying. The law of gender. This is my favorite. And lastly, the law of gender has to do with the masculine and feminine energy that exists in all things. Historically, our societal existence has operated from a masculine hustle and do mentality, which doesn't allow for much room to just be, right? Achieve your own balance between the divine masculine and divine feminine energies in order to live more authentically. Now, in my culture, we have problems with gays, and you shouldn't, because at least they're tapping into their feminine selves. Chris Cuomo just got fired. I just predicted that yesterday, I think. I knew he was going to get fired. I'm sorry, I'm mixing the two up. I'm so sorry. When you have alpha males, right? And they don't have any feminine inside of them, especially in your private time, right? You want to be an alpha male, go be an alpha male. You got to lift concrete. You got to be the boss at the job. You got to do it. Be an alpha male. But when you come home, let me see your feminine side. Let my children paint your nails. Let me paint your nails. Let's have fun without, I'm a man, you can't do that to me. I don't want that guy around. Not anymore. I want a guy that will go to the nail salon with me and get his feet done, get his nails done. I'm not paying for it. I'm just saying I want to go together. And there you have it, the 12 universal laws. Before you get too overwhelmed, integrating them into your life is more about understanding and conceptualizing them in a way that makes sense to you. Take your time. This is new to you. Some of you have only operated by one law. Some of you only understand the law of attraction. But there's so much more that goes in with it Then nobody's expecting you to change overnight. You want to be ornery for the next year? Go ahead. I'm not stopping you. I'm just saying if you're not happy, there's another way. So integrating these laws into your life is more about understanding, conceptualizing them in a way that makes sense to you. Doesn't have to be analytical. Understand a concept and keep it on the back burner in your mind. Learn how to work with them. It'll be a day-to-day scenario. But now that you've been introduced, you can't change what you know. You're gonna have to change now. That's the universal law. Is it? Now that you know, can't go back. Thank you, Devante. I love metrosexual men. I love easy breezy men, but you can be alpha all you want. I love an alpha man that's metrosexual. That's what I want in my life. I also want someone that just lets me be me. I want to be fun. I want to be quirky. I want to be a psychic. I want to be silly. I want to be giving. I want to be happy. And that's what I'm looking for. It'll show up. I'm going to wait patiently. And I'm going to operate and do better at these universal laws. And I bet you the person has to come because he'll be in the world of a higher vibrating person that I've become. All right, guys, I hope you liked it. This took a while, a little over an hour. I hope you liked it. Over time, we're just going to talk about one segment of the universal law in the metaphysical way of earth Appyness segments, right? We're going to go back to the archangels. We're going to go back to the universal laws and dissect it to the T, really get at the nitty-gritty of change. And again, did anybody put Donnella's Frazier in the feed? Let me see if I can do it. Create a banner. One way of changing is to give yourself an opportunity to help someone. And Donnella is our girl. And as much as people gave to Carl Richardson and his mom, can we give to Donnella, please? Donnella, Darnella, Frazier, right? The people that gave to Carl Richardson for him to survive his case, right? You know, those that gave, I would presume, gave out of care and concern and love for this boy. I'm not talking about their personal reasons. I could care none. I'm just saying if that's an action that can happen for a murderer, can we give to Darnella because she showed the world a steady hand and stamina and commitment and participated in changing the world through her video. I don't know if I could have been a Darnella. I'm telling you, I already know it. I couldn't have been. Only she could have done that. So can we support her? Send her $1. Send her $5. Don't make yourself crazy. Just know that internally You did something. That's all. All right. All right. I'm running out of battery. I will not lose this feed. I love you all. I thank you for your own personal reading. 213-458-7408. I hope I am making a difference in your lives. And so I thank those who tune in. Tell others about me. Oh, I'll put the link. I'll put a link and a video in the description. So go on YouTube and you will see the Google link and also a video, a very short 4-minute video that also explains everything I talked about today. Somebody did in 4 minutes. It took me an hour. Bye, guys. Just get rid of YouTube first. And now, please share. Next. 12 universal laws. All right. Oh, child, that worked. Bye, guys. Let me just see the comments real quick. Oh, thank you, Tarika. Oh, Lottie, thank you. Oh, thank you. Misha, thank you so much. That's okay, Devontae. Go back over it. There's a reason for everything. Thank you. I got words. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, LaShonda. Thank you, Queen. I said 3 days to 3 weeks, Ricoma. Yeah, baby. I like it like that. I like it like that. My spirits be on it. Spirits do not lie. Today is CHANGO retreat. It is. And guess what I have for CHANGO? I've got a cigar to put on my altar with Jesse. I can't light it, CHANGO, because I do have an addiction to cigarettes. So I will not be able to light this, or else I will be smoking cigars after this. I promise you. And I can't really smell it either. Let me take it out the package. And I got 4 that if I need it for other things. This is black wine. This is a cigar, right? Is this a cigar? I don't know. Is this a cigar? I don't know. Well, I'm not sure what it is, but CHANGO, it's yours. I like it like that. I like it like that. Cuomo's fired. I like it like that. These spirits do not lie. One of my clients just told me today, she's so cute. She was calling for a whole nother reading, but she goes, I just want to let you know, you said I would have a boy when I was pregnant. Sure enough, what came out? A boy. And I'm like, you didn't check that before he came out? All these pop-up videos? This is for CHANGO. Thank you. Bye. I love you all. Bye, 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 bye. Take it easy. Got my cigar. I think this is a cigar. I don't know. Bye, guys.